Hi, yes, this is the second episode of Stepan's Notes, and today I will tell you about a very interesting but yet quite hectic period of my life. Yes, I will tell you about obtaining German driver's license. Hi, and welcome to the second episode of Stepan's Notes. And today I'd like to share with you an interesting and yet quite stressful story for me on how did I obtain my German driver's license. So first of all, I would like to say that of course for every single person, this experience is individual and different. Yet for me, it was as following. So I had my Ukrainian driver's license before, and I had years of experience of driving as in Ukraine and other countries as well. Yet in Germany, your driver's license is only valid for the 6 months of you being in the country. And then you have to change it to German driver's license. Of course, for Ukrainian citizens, according to the regulations of the EU, due to the circumstances, due to the full-scale invasion and the war in Ukraine that was caused by Russia, the rules are different, and Ukrainian citizens had quite a prolonged period of time that they could use their driver's license and also use their Ukrainian number plates. However, this situation has changed, and that's why it is very important for you to know how to change your driver's license to German. You need to check whether the driver's license that from the country that you're coming from can be simply exchanged to German. And I'll leave the link below where you can download the full list of the countries that allow you to exchange the driver's license. In case your country is not listed among those that can easily swipe, then you have to follow a certain procedure. And in German, that procedure is called Umschreibung. So for Ukrainian driver's license, if you have a valid Ukrainian driver's license, you have to follow the procedure of Umschreibung. For that, you have to translate your driver's license into German. I did it at ADAC, and it was, if I'm not mistaken, 70 euro, and the procedure was around 7 days. So now, as you have your driver's license translated into German, you need to register for the first aid course. The price for the first aid course varies from different providers and also the language of instruction as well. So if you don't know any German, you need to verify whether the school provides a course in English. The price that I paid was around 30 euro and it was in German. My German level at that point was A2, and it was quite sufficient for me to understand the information that was provided. Once you register for the first aid course, you should also ask the school whether they provide the eye test and the biometric photo. For me, it was all in one package and it was 30 euro. So now you have your driver's license translated and the first aid certificate. So it's time for you to register with the school. Since you're only doing the Umschreibung, you don't need to register for the full-scale course. That's why you're going to save a little bit of money. Of course, the price from school to school will definitely differ. And it also depends on the place where you live in Germany. If you live somewhere near big cities, it's going to be more expensive. For me, I live in Leipzig and my basic fee was 100 euro. All right, so now it seems like you have everything you need and it's time for you to apply at Fahrerlaubnisbehörde. You make an appointment and you go with the necessary package of documents, which is your valid passport, your valid ID, also a valid driver's license and a translation into German, biometric photos, certificate of eyesight, and certificate of first aid course. Of course, it is also necessary to have a contract with your driving school. Once you're at Fahrerlaubnisbehörde, you will be requested to pay a basic fee. In my case, it was around 50 euro. And remember, for Germany, it's always important to have an appointment. So please do not forget to make a Termin. So Fahrerlaubnisbehörde gives you permission to exchange your country's driver's license to German driver's license. And for that, you have 2 years. You have a year for the theoretical exam and a year for practical exam. The theory exam can be done in various languages, so please do check which languages are available at the place where you're going to pass your exam. And the driver's test is strictly in German. So of course, I understand that you already have driver's license, and I know that you've already done all sorts of tests. And I do understand that you know the traffic signs and traffic rules, but trust me, to prepare for the exam in Germany, you will need to know more. I highly recommend you to use the book to prepare for the exam, which is listed in the description to this video, as well as to download the app, which contains over 1,000 questions that are updated on the regular basis. All right, so time to test your knowledge. And before that, you need to inform your school that you're ready to take the theoretical exam. You might be requested to perform let's say a try session at your school to show that you're really ready. However, in my case, they trusted me and I did it directly with Dekan. So for the exam, the duration of the exam is 30 minutes and the price was around 50 euro. I did my exam in English. For that, you also need to inform your school so that they book specifically in English. So once you're done with the test, trust me, you will know the results at the same time. So if you passed, you will receive the certificate that shows that you've passed your theoretical exam. This certificate, you normally don't need to show at your school. They will know that you've passed. And then they will allow you to have the practical driver's lessons with the instructor. Alrighty, congratulations. Now it's time to move to the second part of your requirements to obtain driver's license, and that's driving test. Before the driving test, of course you know how to drive, no doubt in that, but you will be required to have few lessons with the driving instructor from the school. Of course, the prices differ from school to school. In my case, it was 90 euro for 45 minutes. And normally you book 2 hours, which makes it 180 euro for almost 2 hours of driving. Since I already had experience in driving, my driver's instructor told me after, I believe, 5 sessions that we can already schedule the appointment for the driving test. Why 5, you will ask me? And I'll tell you, simply because there are so many tiny little things that you really need for your driving exam in Germany. At least, for example, Schulterblick, which is looking behind your shoulder. And that's a very important thing to look at the blind spots. Or for example, the speed limits, right? So you need to know the speed limits of the area where you're going to pass the test. So the reason why you still need to have several hours of driving with the driving instructor, because you come from a different country and you have experience of driving under different circumstances. And trust me, in Germany, there are a lot of tiny little things that you need to keep in mind in order to successfully pass the exam. All right, it's time for you to have your first try to pass the driving test. I encourage you not to have high hopes and expectations. Most of people who try to pass the test in Germany would agree with me that it's very difficult to pass it from the first attempt and sometimes even impossible. That's why prepare yourself that the first try might not be a success. So let me tell you my first driver's test. I failed and I've made lots of mistakes. Not something really critical, but it was too many of little things that led to my failure. So 2 things that caused those little failures was, number 1, it's stress. I had lots of stress, and mainly it was because of the second reason. It's because of the language. So the language of the test is German. You will be asked up to 5 questions, theoretical questions, on the equipment in the car, and let's say, where are the reflectors, where are the brake lights, or what are the things that you need to know about your tires. So the questions may vary. However, your driving instructor will help you a lot with that by giving you specific questions beforehand. The instructions on how you need to drive will also be in German, so you need to prepare for that. You need to learn the basic terminology. You need to understand what's geradeaus, what's nach rechts oder nach links, nächste Ampel rechts. So these tiny things you need to understand, because all the instructions that the examiner will be giving you, he will be giving you in German. So now it's time for you for the second attempt. In my case, I had 2 weeks in between, and I've prepared with my instructor again. He took me again to the same route to prepare for the same circumstances that I might be. Oh, by the way, an important thing to remember, your driving test will include the price of 2 things. Number 1, that's the test itself, and also the car and the instructor that is going to be with you at this time. And you also do your test in the same car that you've been practicing in. Okay, so now a few things to know about your driving test. The duration of the exam is around 45 to 50 minutes, but not more than 1 hour. At the same time, you will be asked 5 theoretical questions at the beginning, and the rest is your driving for 45 minutes. Also, the price of your exam consists of 2 items. Number 1, that's the price of the car and instructor that is going to be with you at this time, and the price of the exam itself. In my case, it was around 216 euro. The price of exam contains 2 items. Number 1, that's the price that you pay for the instructor and the car that you're renting, basically, for exam. And the second, that's the price of the exam itself. In my case, it was slightly less than 250 euro. So now I would like to share with you my mistakes that I've done in my tests, and you will understand why I failed. So the first attempt, it was due to the reason that I've done a lot of little mistakes. I was very stressed, and I couldn't really understand properly the instructions that were given to me. So that's why my first attempt was a failure. The second attempt happened due to the reason that it was on the Bundesstraße, which is outside the city, and the speed limit was 80. I had a truck on my right, I had a car on my left, and the roads were merging, and at the same time I had to move to the exit from the Bundesstraße, and I was going too fast. I was dropping the speed, but not quick enough, and that's why my instructor grabbed the wheel. And in Germany, if that's happening, then that's the failure of the exam. So the third attempt happened due to the reason that I was leaving the secondary street, entering the main street, and I had to give the right of way to the oncoming traffic. However, it was quite far away from me, and in my opinion, I could have made it. But driver's instructor thought that that was a dangerous situation, and that's why my third attempt was a failure. Yeah, so that was 3 times that I failed my exam, and I've succeeded on my 4th one. So a very important detail to mention, I had 2 driving instructors, and the first guy, he was quite good. It was a young guy who spoke English, and he helped me a lot. However, he wasn't really that patient with me, and sometimes the explanations that he chose, they were not really guiding me towards my success. The second guy, he was way older, and he only spoke German, but he was very, very patient, and he really helped me a lot to focus specifically on the items that I needed for me to successfully pass the exam. So my fourth attempt, the one that I did with a new instructor, was completely smooth. I was very well prepared, and it was really nice. I was really happy with the way how I did, with the way how I performed. So everything was very nice. I hope you found this video helpful. And if you are planning to obtain German driver's license, I wish you all success, and may your path will be much easier and smoother than mine.